Konami Studios.
So we finally made it, y'all. It's the end of Future State. It's the end of death metal. DC is moving to a brighter future, an infinite frontier type future. And though the event actually doesn't start till July, that doesn't mean they're not jumping on the gun right away and giving us a 0 issue for Infinite Frontier, which is pretty much just set up to everything that's coming March, April, May, June, July. And I think they just revealed today, because this issue came out, the actual event Infinite Frontier is coming out in July. But, we got a lot of stories to get into, and we got a lot of teases for those stories, which is really fun. And something I do like about this book, too, it's pretty breezy. It's like 63 issues, which is kind of impressive. It didn't feel like 63 issues. But it also had a lot of good creative teams on here, and what we saw from each creative team really excites me for the future of each of those books. There's a couple ones that I'm probably not going to read, in particular, like the Teen Titans Academy, I'm probably not going to read, or the Green Lanterns book, but man, a lot of good stuff in here, and I like that it's Joshua Williamson who is spearheading this, just because the guy's been doing this for a long time. His Flash was incredible, but he never really had like that big leap to being like the franchise leader, like Snyder did, or even Tynion kind of did when he took over the Justice League Dark title, which is kind of exciting to see that Williamson is getting this chance. I think it went really good, so we do kind of get some brief history of the things we saw in Death Metal. We see that Wonder Woman has ascended into the next plane of her reality. She has become one of the omnipotent beings in the DC universe, and everything's just kind of coming together for her and all these people. And we get this narration from the quintessence, I think, is that how you call those people? They are like the all-powerful beings of the DC universe. Now, I don't know who each one is. There's like Gantfit and the Phantom Stranger and Hera, and I think the Wizard's there, and maybe Zeus is the other one. But your quintessence, like your most powerful beings in the universe, are like the ones that kind of keep everything in check. They're like the Watchers, pretty much. And we saw them in Snyder's Justice League run when he did that. So they're here now. They're just watching over things, and it looks like they're trying to recruit Diana to become the next member of their team. And now that she's got her new white suit, she's become all powerful. We're seeing everything in that regard, and she's trying to like accept her fate in that style. And it's kind of fun to see that. The Spectre is here too. He'll play a key in this book too. Well, you just see Diana's kind of like, I'll join you guys. I think there's something for me in this reality and everything like that. But before she does that, she wants to see how her friends and family are doing, how everybody on Earth that she fought to save is responding to the new Omniverse, Infinite Frontier-verse, everything that's happening in that regard. So she's like, I want to go make sure they're all good. I'll join you guys. We'll just watch over everything for eternity like a bunch of weirdos, and that's going to be really fun to do. But before that, I got to check on them. So it's the Spectre who says, all right, well, I'll be your guide. I'll take you down to this new Omniverse. I'll show you everything in existence. We could see what your friends are up to. We could see what everything's going on, and you'll learn in your heart that this is where you were always meant to be. So we get that, and then this is kind of like where we start to see all the creative teams coming in that we're going to be seeing on all those other books, which is very exciting because I didn't hate any story in here. They're all pretty breezy. They're like 3 pages each story, but it worked really well. Like, I think they're all really cool. They set up some great stuff in the future. So let's go on this journey with the Spectre and Wonder Woman as we see what's kind of going on right now in the infinite possibility of the DC universe. And something I want to say too is like there's this really interesting underlying current when the Spectre is talking. He's kind of like, in a weird sense, kind of like the voice of the audience that's against all this stuff. Like, he's talking smack about some characters. We'll get to it in like specific moments. But I thought that was pretty cool because, of course, Diana's the one who's like, yeah, everything matters. We should just go explore it and have fun. And the Spectre's the guy who's just like, maybe? Or maybe it sucks, like not everything can be good. So let's go to the world that will be Justice League. And we see Superman is entering to this crime scene. It looks like this man was kind of like turned to ash and stone. And people are wondering what it is. And they're crying out the name Shazadam because, it became like the meme really quickly. Everybody was saying Shazadam's what they're going to be calling Black Adam now because Black Adam's not an acceptable name. That's not going to be the case. It's not going to be the case. So, like, the civilians in this place, they're like, yeah, a guy like you came to save us. He's got, like, the lightning bolt on his chest, and Superman's like, oh, yeah, Shazam's like, no, it's Black Adam. So we get, like, footage of stuff Black Adam did to, like, fight this being and stop him from hurting these people, acting like the hero, which is kind of causes the people to call him Shazadam because, he's a Shazam and he's a Black Adam. He's a little of both. which is kind of fun to see. But of course, we know he's just going to be called Black Adam going forward, because why would Bendis call him Shazadam? It sucks. So Barry eventually shows up, and him and Clark are just like, this was Black Adam. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but it is. And it looks like he's doing good and doing the right thing. And Barry's like, man, you just have to be the guy searching for the best in everyone. And like, yep, that's what Superman is, and that's what he's doing here. Very cool to see. Just a fun little story to give us what we're probably going to be seeing in the Justice League book by Bendis coming very soon. You know, here's Black Adam on the team. Makes sense. We cut to the world of Gotham City, where we just get like a recap of like the events that happened leading up to Batman 106, which I read Batman 106 before I read this one. So it's like, oh yeah, why is the Scarecrow doing this stuff and that? But it doesn't matter. So we see that there's like a Joker toxin infection in the Arkham Asylum, and everyone's roided out and freaking out. It looks like Bane is dead, and we got like one agent who's alive, Agent Mahoney. He's trying to like get a hold of someone who can help him, but it looks like no one else is able to reach him. We see that outside in another place where the infection was spread, that the Batgirls are fighting, leading into that story. And we see that Oracle and Huntress are there, giving us a little more indication of the Birds of Prey, which we're going to be getting this book at some point. Like, if they don't make this book with Oracle and Spoiler and Orphan, they're really missing out on something, because that is going to make a lot of people happy. And all those characters had their time in the sun here. I think it's going to be really cool. Now, Huntress is in the picture. Like, where does she come from? Okay, that's great. So we see, you know, Huntress is just saying to Babs, like, man, you really like being back in the chair. And it's like, of course I do, man. This is when I was my best. I love Batgirl. I love Barbara Gordon, but she's best as Oracle. So like seeing her in this position, I think that's really cool. So yeah, you know, things are heating up in Gotham City and everything's going bad. We cut to a scene of Jason and his dad, and they're just playing some chess while they're talking about stuff. And it looks like bad shit's about to go down, because Grifter comes in and says, yo, we gotta move you to like a bunker to stay safe. It's a code green at Arkham. The Joker's loose. He probably killed Bane. Something bad is happening there. You know, a lot of stuff in Gotham City, which I get it. Tynion doesn't seem like the kind of guy who can write something really small and then move forward. So some stuff with Mayor Nikito, and we just see him talking to Montoya, and they're just having like, all right, something bad's going on. We got one guy who's alive inside of Arkham Asylum. We should try to reach him, and we see that Batman's on the way to save him. And the Spectre and Diana are like, yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine. He'll manage. But we should see what's going on in Themyscira, where Hippolyta is kind of mourning the loss of her daughter, and Diana is watching this with inspiring eyes. And you kind of get some interesting things like, who's going to take over the mantle of Wonder Woman? Everybody thinks it's going to be Nubia. And Hippolyta's just like, yo, Diana was like a one-time thing. We're not doing that again. So if you guys really want to fight for this, let's do something really crazy for it. And you're going to go fight Medusa. You know, why don't you go do that? So they're like, oh, we're not going to fight Medusa. And Nubia's the one that's like, okay, I'll go fight Medusa. I don't care. And that idea kind of comes into play. So now we're like, we saw that in the Future State story, Nubia was a Wonder Woman. Is she going to become our Wonder Woman here? No, that is not the case, because what she's actually doing is Hippolyta is giving Nubia the title of the Queen of the Amazons, and Hippolyta is going to go to Man's World and make sure that none of her people have to go there again, and she's going to just like save their lives, because we saw that was going to be happening in the Justice League book, and that's pretty fun. You know, we're getting a more mature or wise Wonder Woman. Not that Diana's not wise or mature, but now we're just like, it's Mom's turn to come play. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I think that's pretty exciting. Hippolyta's never really had that role before, so that's kind of cool to see. And Hippolyta's other reason for going out, she's like, I want to see what this other Wonder Girl's doing. Like, what's Yara up to? And we get a nice small story of Yara. Again, Joelle Jones doing all the stuff for this one. We see some sign language where she's going on this trip, and her aunt and uncle don't really want her to go, but her uncle's more supportive of it. So it looks like, you know, Yara's going to find out her truth, and we see some people that might come to attack her. We'll probably follow up on that in the Yara Flor solo book, which did get greenlit, which I'm very excited about. Again, a tease for that book. Joelle Jones's art is fantastic. I really like that. But then we cut to probably my favorite of the mini stories in this book. So we are outside what I'm assuming we're going to say is like the Justice Society headquarters. We're getting some narration from Obsidian, which I'm so glad Obsidian is back. I feel like we've missed having him in books. I'm glad he's here. He's just talking about like how his dad was one of the founding members of the JSA, how he worked for Infinity Inc., and now he's here with his sister. They're just like in this new world. Everything's coming together. And we get a nice little story that we actually never really got in the actual continuity before. So Jade and Obsidian are here to talk to their father, and their father's like, this is so hard to say, like to come out with these words, and I didn't really know what to do. And he's like, I'm from this era where we hid a part of ourselves from like my friends and my family and all these people. And I tried to like find people to love. And I did love these women. I loved these women, but I never had that part of me being shown to them. And I felt like I was hiding. So this is the first time in actual continuity, like the first time in the actual story of DC, not in an Elseworlds, not in an Earth 2, that Alan Scott is admitting to his kids that he is gay, which is like a very powerful moment for him. And I like that it's Tynion that wrote this book. Because yeah, I'm sure Tynion has a connection to Alan Scott. I know a lot of people do, and I'm a big fan of that character, and I really like Jade and Obsidian. So having them all share this little moment in this book made me really happy, because it just had that extra layer of power and family setting that I just really enjoyed, and I think there was some enduring quality about this. And of course, they're accepting of him. They're like, we're glad in this new era of this world, our dad can be comfortable around us and tell us the truth. And I like that a lot. That made me really happy. It was just a nice, sweet... This is a small story that needed that closure, needed that oomph to just have some moment like that. And I like that we're saying, yeah, Alan Scott's going to be a mainstay now. That's really cool. Anybody from the JSA that's going to be a mainstay? Well, I like it to be Ted Grant. I'm fine with it being Alan Scott. I think that's really cool. And if that means Jade and Obsidian are coming back for a bigger role, hell, I'm on board for that too. That'd be really cool. I really like that. So we leave that story, that beautiful story. Then we go to like, okay, all of our kids from Titans Academy are getting on a ship and they're headed out to go see the actual Titans Academy headquarters. A small story, teasing Red X again. Like, who is this guy going to be? Does anybody really care at this point? I don't know. Maybe. Not for me. Then we cut to the Superman story, which this is where I'm like, okay, the Spectre is being the voice of the audience that doesn't like the character of Jonathan Kent. The entirety of this story, we are not following Clark Kent, we are following Jonathan. And Jonathan is like struggling to take up that title of Superman. And Spectre's like, he's not Superman. He's never going to be Superman. Like, he's an anomaly. He was born in a different world that doesn't exist anymore. He was conceived in a world that didn't exist before that one. The guy's an anomaly. He's never going to be anything other than just an anomaly in an area that doesn't deserve him. But it's Diana who's like, no, he is Superman. And we see like he's fighting like this weird parasect thing. It's like a weird, creepy, squid-looking creature. He sends it through like time and space, and he goes back to where the creature was first like created and conceived. And he finds it when it was alone, and he brings it back to his people to stop the threat from actually coming to Metropolis to destroy the city, which is such the most Superman thing to do. And even Diana's like, yeah, that's a Superman thing to do. You're telling me that this kid isn't Superman? And Spectre's like, oh shit, you're right. He kind of is. I guess he is Superman. For now, watch out, everyone. Who knows when we're going to like age him up or age him down again, so don't worry. Jonathan Kent is still not in a stable position, which I thought that was kind of cute. Very fun. So they go from the son of tomorrow to the present of renewed love, and we just like... The creepy kids there are just watching Ollie and Dinah hooking up, and you're like, that's cool. I like it. It's not a long scene with these two, but it's just like, hey, we're back together. We always find each other in this weird timeline. And Oliver gets a call, and he doesn't answer, and he's just like, that's weird. I guess there's a mystery we got to go solve later. Somebody who's trying to call us, and they just have a renowned love, and it's great, and they're going to be on the Justice League, which is very fun. Then we see who called Oliver, and we see that it's Roy, who just like holds up a phone. He's like, should I call Donna or Jason or anybody, like Dick? Like, hey, I'm back from the dead. I don't know what to do. You guys want to go do something? You want to hang out? He's like, nah, I'll just go do my own thing for a bit. Chucks the phone in a bin, just grabs a bow and arrow, goes out on the run. That's great. I guess Roy Harper's back. Didn't bury the lead on that one. Very cool. I love Roy Harper. Very fun character. I'm glad they don't overly explain it. He's just back, because of course he is. Killing him did absolutely nothing for the story. Bringing him back, perfect. I'd love to see I know they're saying Infinite Frontier is going to have, I think it's going to be like the Spectre and Diana leading, but we don't have an official Green Arrow book, so maybe if Roy Harper could lead a book too, that'd be great to see. I know Williamson's is doing a Damian Wayne book, so maybe do a Roy Harper one too while you're at it. You got all that stuff going on. Go for it. Go have some crazy fun. And then we get another very cool surprise in this book. So Jeff Johns wrote a Stargirl. That's great. He literally just like, yeah, let's recap Stargirl for all the guys who maybe not seen the show, but are like kind of excited to see what season 2 could bring. So we just see it's Courtney Whitmore. She's late for school. She's taken out a villain called King Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. In comes Pat Dugan in the stripe armor. We see that he's part of the Seven Soldiers of Victory because that was in the show when they're just having a fun time defeating him. She's late for school. She rides on his back to get to school, and she bursts in. She's like, hey, the principal just says, you're late, Miss Whitmore. What are you doing? And we see that Pat's like, oh, it's fine. The car broke down. We're here, though. I better get to class, little kid. Get into it. And it's just really fun. It's really fun. I liked it a lot. Very cool story. And before it ends, we actually see that the Vigilante? I think that's the Vigilante, not the Crimson Avenger. That's the Vigilante. He calls Pat and he's like, yo, the soldiers, we're doing something else. It looks like we're going to have something fun to do. And this is going to lead into that special that Jeff Johns is writing with the Secret Eighth Soldier of Victory, which is kind of exciting to see. And it looks like Courtney's going to be a part of the team now, which I think is very cool. I like the character of Courtney. I liked seeing this story. I'm glad Johns just said, yeah, I'm going to do a Stargirl story. Even if it's just a recap of where Courtney is in her life, I think that's pretty cool. Though you'd think Courtney would be a little older now, especially considering who's like a high schooler, but that's great. I just like seeing Courtney. Makes me very happy. And we see that Spectre's like, oh, it looks like we're being pulled back to something we might have missed. So we go back to Gotham City where Batman's coming in to save the day. And we just get like a recap of everything that's going to be happening in Batman 106. So we see where a bunch of characters are at in the timeline. We're getting a narration by a mysterious villain. We're just seeing, like there's Clown Hunter, there's Red Hood, there's Harley Quinn, there's everybody, Commissioner Gordon, there's Penguin. And like everyone's just doing their stuff. We're just seeing where they're at. And the person that is talking is, we'll reveal it in a bit actually, because when we get there we see Mahoney saves a couple of these nurses. The building blows up. It looks like Mahoney's going to die, but he did manage to save the nurses, which he's okay with. And we see that the police show up and they're like, Batman, put your hands up. Look, we got a new order from the mayor. No vigilantes. You're going down. But Batman goes back into the fire. He's like, look, you guys can stop me if you want. You can shoot me, but I'm going to save those people. A very Batman thing to do. Then we cut to Simon Saint, who did appear in Batman 106, and he's just talking to Scarecrow. So this is what I was confused about in Batman 106. Like, how does Scarecrow get all this weird tech to become this weird guy? I know that in the Future State Harley Quinn book, Jonathan Crane is working with the Magistrate, so I guess he was there from the beginning, which is kind of cool to see. I like that a lot. Very, very cool thing to see. And then we cut to the Green Lantern story, where it is Simon, Baz, John Stewart, and Teen Lantern, who's her name, Joe Cully or something. I can't remember her name. Kelly? Something Kelly. Anyway, they're just headed to see like Oa. It's her first time there. Very fun stuff. I liked it a lot. Then we see the Spectre and Diana are watching the events of Barry Allen because he was asked to join that team with the President Superman. I can't remember the name of the team, but it's the multiversal team because, Barry Allen was like the first person to travel to a different world. So he was asked to join the team to kind of like monitor the new events and everything, which of course that makes sense to me. I don't expect that to be something that people won't like. I also like that right away. They're like, oh no, yeah. So we got a couple Earths that are going to be the problem. One of them is the Elseworld, where I guess anything can happen. We're not really going to explain it. Just if there's something weird in the timeline, it's probably on Elseworld. Then we got like a one in the far off corner called Earth Omega. It's kind of dark and weird. You get it. It's going to be the bad one. So that's pretty fun. It's the Justice Incarnate. Is that the team? I believe that's the name. So Barry's going to join the Justice Incarnate, meaning that there needs to be a Flash on this Earth. So of course it's going to be Wally West, just like the 90s, just like the era that the writers of this entire arc, this entire story grew up in. They were there when Wally West was the Flash. Now Wally West is going to be the Flash again, which is a really cool thing to see. I like Wally West. I like those legacy characters. I'm glad they're doing this. This kind of honors the legacy of Barry Allen too, where it's like, yeah, he's the first one to travel the multiverse, see all this other stuff. He kind of died in the first crisis. Now he's back. He's going to monitor all these other worlds with a team that goes around and does this stuff. So it's very fun to see. I like it a lot. And even Diana's just like, oh, good for him. Another torch passed. That's really cool. Very, very pleasant to see that. Everything's going well for our team. Everyone's admiring the world they're building and all that stuff. Spectre and Diana are like walking across the ground, just seeing all these other stories. Like there's Peacemaker and Booster and Beetle, and there's that Supergirl book that Tom King's going to be writing, and there's Swamp Thing, and there's that Martian Manhunter thing. It looks great. Looking great. So it's the end of the journey. Diana is there with Spectre, and she's just like, you know what? That was fun just to see that everyone's okay, and they are capable of taking care of themselves. So that's great. And Diana is just like, you know what? I'm glad you guys chose me for this. I feel like I could be a part of the quintessence, but I'm going to decline. You know what? If there's one thing I learned from watching all of this stuff, it's just that I can't sit back and just stare at the cosmos without any actual thing happening. Like, I'm not you guys, you know? You guys are good at that. Phantom Stranger, you don't do shit. You just let things happen. That's not me. It reminded me that I can go back and become the person I was meant to be and start a new chapter and find this different stuff. So we see that Diana morphs her white costume into that costume we are going to be seeing her wearing in the Infinite Frontier book of Wonder Woman, written by Becky Cloonan. And that costume looks great. I love the fur collar and this, like, the fur all around it. It looks so cool. I think it's very exciting. So Diana says, yeah, it's an Infinite Frontier, new chapter in all of the DC universe, where we don't have to explain every little thing to you guys. It's part of an omniverse. Everything could happen or it won't. It doesn't matter. All that matters is stories exist. Read them. Sometimes they'll end, sometimes they'll begin. But that's about it. There's nothing else to it, just comic books. Hashtag comic books. That's all this is saying, and I like it. It's not over-explaining anything, which is very cool to see. It's an infinite frontier of possibility for the DC universe, which I really liked. And we do get an epilogue where we see that this Earth Omega, the Dark Earth, is home to the final version of Darkseid, the end Darkseid. Because of course it is. If there's one constant in the universe, it's Darkseid. And it looks like he kind of kills the quintessence, but does he actually? Can you really kill these beings? I don't think so, but hey, he did it. That's really cool. Very fun. A lot of stuff to look forward to. I know, I was like, is this really a review or just me explaining what's coming up in DC? I don't know, but either way, there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to, man. Just some really fun ideas being presented at DC currently. A lot of things I'm very excited to see and check out, and a lot of stuff we are going to be covering on this channel, so look forward to that. So this was a great way to show us what's coming down the pipeline. It gave us a lot of cool stuff with the characters. We saw some great stuff with Diana and the Spectre, and everyone just had their moments, which I thought was really cool, really exciting, and I can't wait to see more of it. I think it's very, very cool. It gets me more excited for the future of DC than anything Marvel has done in a long time, which is saying a lot because Marvel's been on a kind of a good streak lately. But we'll just have to see what happens with Heroes Reborn. I just love that they don't explain why Roy's back, and I just really like that Jeff Johns decided he's going to do another Stargirl, which is very exciting. So, great book, very fun. This is a 20-minute video, so I think I'll end it there. Infinite Frontier, number 0, I am going to give a 10 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.